Live from Studio 44 in downtown Wenatchee, a Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley has safely arrived on the broadcast airwaves. Because technology is a beautiful thing. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. I guess that's what that says. That says Steve Hare, news director. Kat in control on this Thursday, the 6th day of September 2018. We got a lot to get to. It's going to be a busy show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a 5-pound show in a 4-pound bag. We're going to
The
do our very
sports
best.
report is an hour long in itself.
Oh, the sports is huge. We got some air quality issues again. Steve has quite a bit of news to get to. There's a lot going on.
Boy, is there ever.
Yeah. And this is the transition. You know, August is kind of...
We're in an area on the move.
Is it September yet? But it's September now, and everything is picking up. Everything kind of changes, and we make that transition to, you know, doing stuff.
Wake up, Dan.
Wake up, Dan. We got, as Steve mentioned, we got a lot of news. We got a lot of sports. We got Today in History. We got the Obscure Holiday. We got birthdays. We got Everyone's Entitled to Mike McNalty's Opinion. It's Thursday. That means Kennel Cameos with Megan McPherson. And my conversation with Dr. Michelle Price, the superintendent of the North Central Educational Services District. I put aside the first Thursday of each month to visit with those good folks, and it's back to school for the ESD as well. So that's a great conversation. You don't want to miss that. That's the second half of the program. Let's not waste any more people's time because we're going to take a look at the air quality, which is not very good. But first, let's take you around North Central Washington with our Valley View cameras.
Another
that is our
grimy day.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's a perfect example of that. The air quality is worse today than it was 24 hours ago at this time. We'll touch on that in just a second. There's the Wenatchee Valley from our cross cam. All of these cameras that you see, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet, which means you can get a bunch of super good high-speed internet without having to have fiber run to your house. It's a good deal. The Wenatchee Valley under the haze and the smoke once again on this Thursday. Again, air quality readings are coming up in just a little bit for both Wenatchee and Chelan. Let's take you to camera number 2. Kat has decided we'll pay a visit to Omi Garden. Ew. Is that a word?
I was going to say.
It is now. That's what we have, folks.
That's our normal.
Yeah, it is the new normal. In fact, it's kind of funny. I was looking back at our archives exactly 1 year ago today. I was looking at some stuff, and we had a bunch of sports games that were canceled because we had heavy smoke last September at this very same time. So there you go. Yeah, Steve said it's the new normal. We have the lid on. There's a high pressure ridge that's keeping any system out there for the time being for the next couple of days from paying us a visit. And that's what we need to scour out the skies, and that simply isn't the case.
A lot of this is coming down from British Columbia, too, still. You know.
That means they measure the smoke in the metric system, I believe.
I don't know how they're fighting fires up there. Maybe they're not fighting them at all. I don't know.
I don't know. Camera 3, we take a look at, that's a different angle of a camera we use all the time, I'm sure. That's Steins, okay.
Hill.
Good shot of Steins. Very popular hiking destination up there, Steins, because that's the kind of view that you get. That is just beautiful, isn't it? Taking a look-see at the Shasta-Dryden area. Downtown Dryden, of course, with the Dryden Hilton plainly in view there. And finally, camera 4. And we say hello to beautiful Lake Chelan. That's the Manson Water Tower camera, I believe. And hello, Chelan. Yeah, you're back at it again, Chelan. You're at 147 right now.
Yuck.
On the air quality. That is unhealthy for sensitive groups, and that is not good. Chelan got real bad yesterday. In fact, we got some graphics to show you. Let's go ahead and make that transition. From the Washington State Department of Ecology, here's your latest readings. For the Wenatchee Valley, there we are, 138. That is unhealthy for sensitive groups. Yesterday at this time, it was at 120. And we got above 150, and that concerns me because there's your graph, that's your 3-day history. You can see where it peaked up into the red there, Steve, yesterday afternoon. We have a soccer game to broadcast tonight. The Ismail Wildcats host Kashmir, and the magic number, which is not a good number, is 150. If it gets to 150 or above, they don't play.
It's all dependent on the air quality.
Yeah.
Whether we have a game or not.
So I'm a
match or not, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm a little concerned because it's bad now. It's worse now than it was yesterday at this time. That's your Wenatchee 3-day history. Right now, Chelan, you are at 147, teetering just on the brink between unhealthy for sensitive groups and just plain unhealthy. And Chelan had a really bad afternoon yesterday for air quality. Look at that. Oops. It took way up there, didn't it? So it got just plain, it went from unhealthy to not good at all, deep purple. You don't want to be all the way up there in the deep, deep purple.
That's 2012 territory there.
Yeah. So sorry, Chelan, you had to deal with that again. Now it's a little bit better, but right now, Wenatchee 138, Chelan 147. And it's because it's already worse now than it was yesterday this time, I wouldn't be surprised if we get up to that 150 mark. I hope we don't. I really don't. I want to see some soccer tonight. I want to work tonight's game, but we'll keep a close eye on that.
Good time to also check those air filters, folks. Those air conditioning systems are really being burdened with that heavy ash and gunk that clogs up those filters. So get out there and get those replaced.
Good advice from Mr. Steve Hare, who, of course, does our Sunday morning show, This Old House. Let's take a look at your forecast from the National Weather Service. Kudos to them. They picked a high of 83 on Wednesday, and that's what we hit, 83. Warm and dry through Friday. A cold front arrives Friday night, Steve. That's going to make some breezy conditions and the threat of some isolated showers starting on Monday. So we're going to start cooling down. Quite a bit, as a matter of fact. Look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I was talking our forecaster, Grant Olson, yesterday about it, and he's looking at good chance of some lightning as well and thunder accompanying those storms on Monday.
That's what I don't want to see. I want to see some rain, certainly some drizzle, no lightning though. So another day of hazy, smoky skies, 88, smoky and hazy one more time on Friday. Friday night is when the cold front comes in. So Saturday is going to be the transition day. Sunday, not bad. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, cooler temperatures, chance of rain, and a tad on the breezy side. A friendly reminder, we are getting farther and farther away from summer. There's just 15 days left for summer 2018. 7 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a 1 minute break. When we come back, Steve Hare as your Thursday morning headlines. The news brought to you by Cascade Medical. Trained with a physical therapist who loves the outdoors as much as you do. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
The physical therapists at Cascade Medical love the outdoors as much as you do. But sometimes where there's love, there's also pain. Let us help you get back to the activities that you love. Cascade Medical, partners in your health.
The NCW Live Channel is your home for local news, local weather, and events including live local high school sports. Watch inspiring local shows featuring local people. Don't miss Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's learn. Guada TV. Street Talk and Other Stuff. The 12th District. Life with Lisa. And the Arbiter of Stoke. NCW Live Channel is your local TV station.
And now it's time for your local news update with Steve Hare.
Well, the Port of Chelan County celebrates the start of new economic development at the old Cashmere Mill site. Port officials held a ceremonial groundbreaking Tuesday afternoon to mark the start of construction of two large industrial buildings that are designed to spur new business growth in that area. The buildings are expected to be completed in the spring. Officials with the port say the $6.6 million redevelopment project will allow local businesses to expand and also help recruit new business to town. The Chelan County Commission also agreed to allocate $500,000 to that project, and the port is putting up the rest of that money.
On behalf of the Chelan County Commission, and I just would say that it's great to be able to partner with the port and provide opportunity here for the city of Cashmere and for the Upper Valley. This is really an exciting day to turn dirt and to see something that's already been up and erected, and jobs are being had right behind us. So I want to commend the port on their efforts and look forward to a great future here on this site. As a kid, I remember, the Schmidt lumber and the mill pond over here and the Noon whistle. I mean, those are things that you kind of, I grew up with. But what's neat about that is that, although the mill is not here, as JC mentioned, jobs will be. And that's really what we need here in our valley. And I appreciate, once again, the opportunity to partner with the port in making this a reality. Thank you.
Now, the industrial buildings will be high-ceiling, multi-tenant spaces. Possible uses could be production, warehousing, laboratory, or even office space. Lau's Trust Company purchased just over 3.5 acres in September for a new manufacturing facility. Construction is ongoing there, but production at the facility has already started up. So things are moving forward in the Cashmere area with the redevelopment of that old Cashmere lumber mill. The old sawmill went out of business, of course, with the demise of the timber industry. And here's a shot of it, historical photo provided to us by the Washington State Department of Ecology, which was reporting that there was a lot of cleanup work associated with that redeveloped property, a lot of contaminated ground there that had to be removed. And so that was a major cleanup project by the Port of Chelan County, and it took over a decade to complete. But it looks like things are moving forward there on the economic development front. Also this morning, the campaign to save Nason Ridge is reportedly nearing its $1 million fundraising goal. Chelan Douglas Land Trust, in partnership with the Western Rivers Conservancy, is attempting to purchase over 3,700 acres of forest land located near Lake Wenatchee from Weyerhaeuser. Now, the company had planned to log timber on 210 acres of land on the slope that overlooks the lake, but they reconsidered after nearby landowners expressed concerns about views, unstable slopes, and impacts on water quality. It's like they say, if you want the view, buy it. The Land Trust is spearheading this fundraising drive, and Executive Director Kurt Soper, in an interview we did with him about a month ago, said the goal is reachable, but the clock is running.
So the Land Trust needs to raise $1 million between now and the end of the year. We are right about at $500,000, $600,000 now, thanks to some generous lead gifts. But we hope that people will contribute, whatever it is, $50, $100, $500. Maybe they use the Nason Ridge property and love it. They can help make sure that it's always available to the public. They could go to savenasonridge.org, and it's pretty easy there to use your credit card, send in a check, what have you. We need everybody to help.
Now, that was an interview we conducted with Soper about a month ago. As of yesterday, though, Soper reported the campaign is now only $30,000 short of its $1 million goal. On the law enforcement front this morning, an 18-year-old Wenatchee man remains in custody today after he was kicked out of his own mother's home after leading police on a high-speed vehicle pursuit and foot chase. Wenatchee police say it happened around 3:30 in the morning Monday when the suspect, Julius Ceballos, was seen driving erratically near the 900 block of Monitor Street. After an officer attempted to stop him, he took off at speeds climbing to 60 miles an hour through residential neighborhoods. He ended up near Okanagan Avenue and Russell Street. At that point, he allegedly struck the curb in several places and hit 2 parked cars before getting out of the SUV and fleeing on foot. At that point, police gave chase. The suspect then went to his mother's home, apparently looking for shelter there on Kittitas Street. Apparently his mother wouldn't have anything to do with it, so she kicked him out of the house. And he was quickly subdued and cuffed by authorities. Arrested about 6 in the morning, Ceballos was arrested. He's facing multiple charges, including the attempt to elude a police vehicle, hit and run, third-degree malicious mischief, and obstructing a law enforcement officer. He's currently making his home at the Chelan County Regional Jail. Also, good news here locally. The Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center has named Kenny Sturgeon as the new executive director. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Sturgeon currently serves as the vice president of the Pacific Science Center's Science Engagement and Outreach Division in Seattle. She'll take over the reins of the museum on November 19th. Prior to her role at the Pacific Science Center in Seattle, Sturgeon served as the museum director and curator at the Willamette Heritage Center in Salem, Oregon. That was from 2007 to 2014. She's an Arizona State grad with a master's degree in cultural anthropology. So we welcome her to our valley. Again, that's your news. We'll have more coming up at 5 o'clock. Grant Olson will do the honors with the NCW Life Evening News. And of course, you can watch that, starting at 5 o'clock live.
5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Quick update on the air quality. First of all, outside the Wenatchee Valley, it's 54 degrees, fair skies. If you're just joining us, about 83, smoky and hazy again today and tomorrow. Wenatchee is still at 138, unhealthy for sensitive groups. Chelan just bumped into the unhealthy category. While you were doing the news, I did a quick update on the Washington State Air Monitoring site, and they were at 147 when we started the show. There's a live shot of Chelan. Thank you, Kat. Chelan is now at 153, which is above that number that we talk about, 150. So Chelan, your air is now at unhealthy. So Chelan is already starting to climb that scale. We are, the air quality today now is worse than it was 24 hours ago. At 7:15 yesterday morning, we were at 120, we were at 138. Right now, I'm keeping our fingers crossed. We'll be able to get a soccer game in tonight. I really want to see some soccer.
You got to wonder, you know, about the long-term health effects as we see this becoming more regular occurrence every summer now. You got to wonder, you know, what kind of long-term effects this is going to have on folks' respiratory systems. So, hey,
maybe we should do a story on that.
I'm thinking we might be prompted to do something.
That's
like
called
that.
planting an idea, and guess what? You kids can do that too. You can
Yeah.
plant ideas in our head. They're usually pretty vacant. All you got to do is get a hold of us, and to tell you how to do that, here's Steve Hare.
That's right. You can contact us at our website, ncwlife.com. Press that little tab at the top of the page that says Contact Us. Also, talk to us on Facebook and Twitter. News at ncwlife.com. That's our address to our email, so let us know about what's going on there. And as always, our breaking news hotline is available to you. Give us a call if you see news happening at 888-6295.
17 minutes after the hour, sports, the obscure holiday today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion, Ken Old cameos, and my conversation with Dr. Michelle Price of the North Central Educational Services District. Still to come over the next 43 minutes or so on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life channel.
I'm Eric Grandstrom with NCW Live Sports.
I'm NCW Life News Director Steve Hare.
Catch us on Local Tel Channel
You
12.
can watch us on Charter Channel 19 or stream us live on ncwlife.com.
Follow us on Twitter and like us on
Where
Facebook.
we cover the local high schools, the Wenatchee Wild, and the pro teams out of Seattle.
On Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain.
Catch it all right here on the NCW Live channel.
I have a doctor who knows what they're talking about.
It's just so much more hands-on and friendly than anywhere else I've ever been.
It's really great to walk into somewhere where you feel welcomed and you feel accepted.
We've just been grateful for the care and respect that we've been given there.
And here when I come to visit my doctor, I'm not afraid to ask questions.
It's not just about getting you in and out.
I love my care at CVCH. It's awesome. Give it a try.
And welcome back live from Studio 37. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's take a look at sports. Poor air quality in the Wenatchee Valley. Once again, forced area teams who normally practice outside to practice inside. That includes the Wenatchee Panther football team coming off their 52-0 loss at the hands of Mount Si last week. Wenatchee coach Scott Devereaux says it's been a week of lesson learning for his squad as they prepare to travel to Lewiston.
We got quite a bit out of the film. We saw mistakes that we made. Our tackling wasn't very good the first half. We missed 24 tackles the first half. We only missed 3 the second half. So, we got up the game speed a little bit better there. But we learned so much from game 1 to game 3. Take huge steps, and that's the plan. We make some big strides for week 2.
Senior linebacker Jaden Christofferson says it was a matter of going back to the basics.
In the first half, definitely noticed some breakdown of guys not knowing scheme-wise, coverages. Second half, we dialed things down a little bit more, made it simplify it, going base, and just focused up on not making mistakes.
Panthers are on their way to Lewiston, Idaho tomorrow night. 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll have more of a preview of the rest of the area football schedule coming up tomorrow, right here on this very program. Schedule for today looks something like this. Girls soccer, Eastmont will host Kashmir. We're hoping. It's all about the air quality. We'll take to the air at 6:50. They start at 7 o'clock. Eric Grandstrom and Matt Wiesen will be there. Also tonight, Cascade travels to Ephrata. Quincy will host Chelan, both at 6 o'clock. That is soccer. Girls volleyball. They'll play because they're inside. Cascade plays at LaSalle. Manson's at Lake Roosevelt, 6:30. Wenatchee will host Chelan, and Eastmont is on the road at Sela. Those two games will get under at 7 o'clock. The Wenatchee Wild, who begin this weekend their 4th season in the British Columbia Hockey League, have announced their team captains for the upcoming season. And there they are. The honor of wearing the C as team captain goes to third-year forward Lucas Sauder. Congratulations to him. The assistant or alternate captains, third-year defenseman Jacob Modry, third-year defenseman Chad Sasaki, and second-year forward Murphy Stratton. Wenatchee will open the regular season on the road. In fact, their first 11 games are on the road. Beginning Friday, they'll be in Vernon to take on the Vipers. The Wild home opener Friday, October 12th against the Nanaimo Clippers. They get to raise the banner. They get their championship rings, the whole 9 yards, October 12th. Write that down. Well, Wenatchee graduate and University of Washington standout tackle Trey Adams. Looks like he's going to be out for the rest of the year with a back injury. That is his Instagram post, and he did that yesterday from his hospital bed at Harborview Medical Center in Seattle. A source told the Seattle Times Adams was there to undergo back surgery. It supposedly happened yesterday. Of course, Adams, a preseason All-American left tackle, expected to be one of the top draft picks in the upcoming NFL draft. He missed the second half of last season after suffering a knee injury against Arizona State. Huskies, of course, trying to rebound from last week's 21-16 loss to Auburn. They take on North Dakota Saturday, 2 o'clock at Husky Stadium. Earl Thomas is back with the Seahawks. They're getting ready to travel to Denver. Season opener with the Broncos on Sunday. Coach Pete Carroll says, yeah, he's happy to have him back.
Earl returned today. It's really good to have him back. He's been with us for so long. He's just been part of the fabric of what we've been about. And it's an adjustment period, you know, as he jumps in with us now. We'll figure out how that works, and we'll get through it. He already is on the field with our guys, and he'll practice today. So we'll see what that all means. I don't have any thought about what to share with you on that one right now, because we got to just see how he does and how he feels and all that kind of stuff. But it's great to have him back. So our guys will welcome him back. They're excited to see him, and we'll move forward with that.
Is Thomas going to start on Sunday? Pete's not saying. He's probably going to play. We can pretty much bet on that. As far as the team is concerned, Carroll says he and the club are ready.
It's a great matchup. We're excited. This team has been pumped the whole time, the whole entire offseason. The energy and the juice of this group has been great. They're ready to roll. We'll put together a couple more days of this week, and then we'll take off and go get it done. So I'm really excited about what's coming up.
They kick off at 1:25 Sunday afternoon in Denver. The NFL regular season, by the way, begins tonight. Believe it or not, Atlanta travels to take on the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. Kick off at 5:20 on the National Broadcasting Company. The Mariners got the long ball they've been missing in a 10-hit 5-2 win over Baltimore last night at Safeco Field. Seattle got back-to-back two-out solo home runs from Nelson Cruz and Denard Span in the 5th inning. That followed a Mitch Haniger solo shot in the 3rd. That sparked the offense. Mike Leake, he evened his record at 9-9. He earned the victory on the mound. He went 6 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 7 hits, 4 strikeouts. Manager Scott Service said it was like watching 2 different games. The offense finally coming alive, and a bad start from the pitcher.
Mike Leake, without his real A game tonight, I would say it just didn't. It just wasn't quite as crisp as we've seen him in the past, but really made pitches and competes well and does all the little things when he's out there to not beat himself. So it's nice to get him a win. He's thrown some good ball games that we have not converted into wins for him. So it was good to see that. And then we did get the offense going a little bit tonight. Obviously the home runs were big. Get back in front in the lead there in the bottom of the 5th, and then adding on a couple of runs was huge. You're sitting there watching the games. Here we go again. It's going to be another 1-run, type deal with the back end of our bullpen. But it was nice to add on a couple runs. So good ball game. It was nice for us to kick it in gear a little bit the second half of that game. That's how we need to play.
Mariners are off today before the New York Yankees come to town for a weekend 3-game set. James Paxton will start on Friday. The Yankees will go with Masahiro Tanaka. To the American League West we go on the Les Schwab scoreboard. As you see on your screen, Oakland won 8-2. They beat the Yankees and they took the series. The A's now trail New York by just 3.5 games for the top wild card spot. Oakland's lead over the Mariners for the final spot is still at 5.5. Houston maintained their 3.5 game lead in the division with a 9-1 win over the Twins. And the Angels got past Texas 9-3. And that is sports. At 24 minutes after the hour, the obscure holiday of the day today. Today is Read a Book Day. We had Book Lovers Day a couple of weeks ago. It's one thing to be a book lover. It's another thing to read a book. So today is reading a book, and it's good for you. Researchers have shown that reading can have a number of health benefits, both physical health benefits and social benefits. People who read a lot have a tendency to have lower stress levels than non-readers. Reading stimulates brain activity and improves memory. And if you read a lot, you write better. Makes perfect sense to me. Go to the library, grab a book. Grab a book you've been meaning to read and haven't read. Maybe you read one of your all-time old favorites that you haven't read in a long time. Read a book day, which for me is pretty much every day. I'm always working on a book of one kind or another. 25 minutes after the hour. Today in history. 4 items to get to. 496 years ago, they made it back to where they started in Spain. Ferdinand Magellan's ship, the Victoria, the first ship ever to make it all the way around the world. They circumnavigated the entire world. The exhibition had begun 3 years earlier. 5 ships took off. Only one made it back, the Victoria. 265 men aboard the 5 ships. Only 18 made it back alive on the Victoria. Of course, among them who didn't make it back, Ferdinand Magellan himself, who got in trouble in the Philippines. The Victoria, the first ship ever to make it all the way around the world, made it back from whence it began 3 years into its voyage on this date, September 6, 1522. September 6, 1901, 117 years ago today, Leo Schatzkos, an unemployed anarchist, shot President William J. McKinley in Buffalo, New York. McKinley died a long and painful death. It took him 8 days for him to die, and Leon Schatzkos was eventually, of course, executed. President William McKinley assassinated kind of on this date, 117 years ago today. 102 years ago today, at a Piggly Wiggly store in Memphis, Tennessee, the very first self-service grocery store went on the air. Before the Piggly Wiggly came up with this idea, grocery stores didn't allow their customers to roam the aisles and grab what they wanted. You would go in, you would give the clerk your list, here's what I need, and the clerk would go get the stuff and bring it to you. Well, it made costs higher and higher and higher, so Piggly Wiggly introduced the innovation of allowing customers to go through the store in a cart and gather their own goods and go to the checkout stand. Caught on, too, 102 years ago today. And September 6, 1995, they say 80% of success is showing up. Cal Ripken showed up again and played in his 2,131st consecutive baseball game, breaking the 56-year-old record held by Lou Gehrig, considered one of the unbreakable records in all of sports, was broken by Cal Ripken Jr. on September 6, 1995. I remember it well. And finally, at 27 after the hour, 3 birthdays. One historic birthday, the founder of the Kennedy family, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., was born in this state in 1888. Of course, his kids did pretty good. He had a kid who was the President of the United States. He had a kid who was an Attorney General and a United States Senator, and another kid who served in the United States Senate forever. I'm talking about John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Edward Kennedy. Their father, Joseph P. Kennedy, was born in this state in 1888. He was also the United States Ambassador to the Court of St. James before he got into hot water with FDR. He died of a stroke in 1969 at the age of 81. Roger Waters, the bassist of Pink Floyd, celebrates number 75 today. He was one of the founding members of Pink Floyd, along with Nick Mason, Rick Wright, and Syd Barrett. When Syd Barrett left the group and replaced by David Gilmour, Roger Waters took over the creative control of the group and all the classic Pink Floyd albums that we think about. Roger Waters was the brains behind that. He's 75 years old today. And Jane Curtin, from Saturday Night Live fame, Kate and Alley, and other work, she's 71 years old today. Unlike the other members of the Not Ready for Primetime Players in the original incarnation of Saturday Night Live, Jane Curtin wasn't a big partier. They used to all party, all those guys, Belushi and Aykroyd and Billy Murray and Lorraine Newman and Garrett Morris. But Jane Curtin didn't participate in those kinds of hijinks. She said she was kind of just different from the rest of them. She's 71 years old today. All right, we got everyone's entitled to Mike Wenatchee's opinion and my conversation with Michelle Price, the superintendent of the North Central Educational Services District, still to come. But first, let's see if we can find Lasagna the cat a home. It's Kennel Cameos on the NCW Life channel.
Hey guys, Megan here with the NCW Life channel. We are here with the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society's Development Officer, Renee Parkins, and we are also here with Lasagna. Hey, so what's going on with Lasagna? Hey.
Well, he's about the biggest lover I've ever met. He just wants to be in my lap, and he just wants to be loved, and yeah, as you can see, he's just a snuggler.
So he was a stray, correct?
Yeah, he was a stray, so we don't know very much about him. He was brought in, he had a wound on his forehead, and we thought we might have a, big tomcat scrapper on our hands, but it turns out that is far from the case with him. He is definitely a lover, not a fighter, so.
And how is he with, do you know how he would be with small kids and other animals?
I don't know how he'd be with small kids or other animals, but he seemed to be okay. Actually, what we were setting up, there was some small children in here, and he seemed interested in them and didn't seem afraid. So I think really as long as they're pretty calm, I think he would be okay with kids. I don't know about other animals. That would just have to be a test thing.
If someone wants to adopt Lasagna, what should they do?
They just need to come down to the shelter. They can come meet him, get to know him, see if he's the cat for your family, and if he is, you can pay his adoption fee and take him home today.
Do you have anything to say, Lasagna? Purring. I think he's purring. The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Kennel Cameos is supported in part by Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Leavenworth. Not only does the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory have great house-made fudge and super delicious candy and caramel apples, but they also have great doggy treats for your four-legged friends, located at 636 Front Street in Leavenworth. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley. Christian Shaman here with Bay Equity Home Loans.
Make your dream of building your own home a reality today. Bay Equity Home Loans has teamed up with Real Homes to make building your new home a smooth process. Bay Equity Home Loans of Wenatchee offers new construction loans, FHA 3.5% down, and VA 100% construction loans.
Stop on by or give us a call today.
Eastern Washington. It's a great place to call home and a great time to own a home. It's the ideal place to lay down roots for your family and your future. Gisa Credit Union thinks Eastern Washington is a great place to own a home too. That's why we offer all kinds of home loans with personal attention every step of the way. We're your home. For home loans, we're Gisa Credit Union.
You can buy fruit almost anywhere. From first off the tree to first in your hands, Lone Pine offers seasonal fruit from their farm and around the region every day. Make Lone Pine your latte stop with coffee from Blue Star Coffee Roasters and a fresh piece of fruit pie. Take a break with a friend and order a cold microbeer or a glass of Northwest wine. Bring the whole family and enjoy a Lone Pine lunch or a fresh shake in their park-like setting. Lone Pine Fruit and Espresso on Highway 97.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I recently read a book, Psycho USA by Harold Schechter. Now, this book discusses real but little known American serial killers from the period of 1782 to 1961. Now, although the term serial killer didn't come into vogue until the 1960s, Schechter presents case after case, which shows that serial killers have been a part of American society since the beginning of the society. Schechter suggests that also firearms have made murder of multiple individuals more efficient. Serial killers of our past have simply used the current technology of their time, such as hatchets, which seem to have been very popular, to commit their multiple murders. Schechter also argues convincingly that individuals committing these acts were what is responsible for the crimes they committed, that they were responsible for the crimes they committed, not the tools they use. And I have to say I agree as best as possible. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
This is State Representative Kerry Condata inviting you to watch our new and improved 12th District 2.0 show.
Now featuring more information on federal, state, and local issues in a leaner, faster format. Guest hosts John Wise and Shiloh Shower bring it all home with yours truly, Carrie Condata. Why do we call it 2.0? Because just like me, it's the stronger, faster, and lighter version of today's politics. Also available on demand at ncwlife.com.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
Hi everyone, Brent. Hey, don't mind, we're just making a commercial here, Randall. You're okay. Hi everyone, Brent here. You're gonna love this. When you see this, come down and see us behind Nissan. I can do it. I can do it. The all-new 2018 Nissan. That's done, I'm done. We can't do it. Come down and see us at Town Nissan behind Costco in East Wenatchee. Better performance, better proof.
You don't want to see this happen. It's the oil light on your car. Oil is the lube of life for your car's engine. At Alignment Pros and Express Lube, they pour the best oil your car deserves. Expect fast, friendly, superior service in a clean environment. They'll change your oil and perform a 21-point inspection while you enjoy the comfort of their amazing waiting room. Keep your car in top shape at Alignment Pros and Express Lube in East Wenatchee.
And we're back on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's back to school time. Pretty much everybody is back to school. A couple of colleges aren't quite there yet, but they will. Trust me on that. And so it's time for our monthly visit with the North Central Educational Services District, and we're going all out today. The superintendent, the head cheese, the head honcho of the North Central Educational Services District is back again. Dr. Michelle Price is my guest on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Good morning, Dan, and good morning, Wenatchee Valley.
It's good to have you back. We had you on just about a year ago during the transition from Rich McBride, the happily retired Rich McBride, who now gets to travel and see his grandkids, to you, who came here from Moses Lake. So you've been here a little over a year. You settled in? Is there any such thing as being settled in?
I don't know if there's any such thing as settled in, but I certainly feel like I have my feet about me within the community now.
That's good.
Yep,
any surprises? Anything that you weren't expecting in the first year of your gig?
Oh, there's lots of surprises. Too many to count, but it definitely has been a year of excitement and learning and really getting to know the work and the people within the communities that we serve at North Central ESD.
So we know what back to school means to teachers, to educators, and we know what back to school certainly means to students and everybody involved in the day-to-day operation. But what does back to school mean to the North Central Educational Services District?
So North Central Educational Service District provides supports for 29 school districts in North Central Washington, so it means it's a very busy time. Professional learning that takes place in August and June, July, while teachers are not in class, they're in class themselves learning, and so we provide a lot of those classes. The whole fiscal turnaround, working on budgets, supporting school districts with getting their budgets submitted. We are, hands down right now, just out doing professional learning and, supporting schools as they're getting started.
Teachers, as most people know, to keep their certification up, have to do an X amount of hours per year just to remember what it is that you're teaching. And you play a significant role in that too, don't you?
We do. We offer those professional learning credits as an opportunity for them to keep their certificates active. And it depends on when they finish school, how many credits they need for their certification and what that process looks like. But everybody needs continuing professional learning clock hours.
Does the clock hours change? Say I'm a kindergarten teacher at Kenroy or I'm a science teacher at Eastmont. Is that two entirely different things, or does everybody pretty much have to put in at least X amount of hours?
So there is, the system is currently changing, so it's been 150 clock hours regardless of what your certificate was to maintain that certificate every 5 years. And then there's a renewal process if you had what's called a residency certificate, that you have to go through a whole professional portfolio in order to get it renewed and then maintain those clock hours. So that number is changing to 100 clock hours with some different requirements that they have: science, technology, engineering, mathematics training along with in that clock hour portfolio, if you will, as well as some other clock hour requirements for evaluations and assessments.
We've talked to some of your folks, Dr. Sue Kane and Pete and some of the folks, and we talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, which has become critical to the future generation. But there are teachers who teach history and social studies that can still get something out of STEM, even though it's not in their particular field.
Absolutely. I mean, everything that we look at and do today has some element of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and it doesn't matter if you're in a current technical field or if you're looking at history. There's definitely a lot of that embedded into it.
Who teaches the teachers?
Now,
we're talking about continuing education. That seems an obvious question.
Absolutely. So that's a great question. So we have a team of teachers who are lead trainers, if you will, of teachers. And they, right now with the teacher shortage, the side-by-side training is happening a lot in classrooms where we do more of a lab environment. But we have also professors from colleges that teach teachers. So it's a variety of different ways that teachers can do their learning and gain those clock hours or credits for advanced degrees.
Teacher shortage. Every time somebody from the North Central Educational Services District comes in, we talk about the teacher shortage. It's getting to the point of duct tape and baling wire now. You know, as far as getting people to become professional educators, it's almost an endless struggle now at this point, isn't it?
You know, it has been a challenge, and I think there are a number of things that are in place or coming into place to help that. The federal No Child Left Behind Act was changed to the Every Student Succeeds Act, which opens some doors for flexibility with certification. That's going to help. And honestly, the new teacher wage structure that's going into place under the McCleary will also help recruit and retain teachers into the field. But it is time where, you know, we have ebbs and flows of too many teachers and not enough teachers. Class size reduction has played a role in that. As class sizes have reduced, we've needed more teachers in the field, and it definitely changes the picture. So we are hoping that with the new changes in place that we will have more people going into education and wanting to have that, if you will, a calling to serve students in their communities.
The Waterville folks up at Waterville, they're doing something very unique this year. They got permission from the state. Instead of doing 5 school days a week, they're doing 4 school days a week. They're longer. I mean, kids still have to, we talk about the traditional 180 days. They're not going to do 180 days, but class time will all work out to roughly 180 days. And the idea behind doing that is to get people to come up to Waterville and teach, right?
Yes, one of the things that Waterville was trying to address was attendance problems, both with students and with staff, and to recruit and retain teachers that may not want a full work schedule, 5 days a week, meaning they're still working the same number of hours, it's just spread out over the 4 days, as is the student learning time is still the same.
Is it working okay? Do you know yet? Is it too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. What we know is that this year they filled all of their teaching positions. Unfortunately, they were in a situation, though, between enrollment and with the new funding structure for the state, that they were reducing some staffing this year anyway. So they do have all their teaching positions filled, and I'm hopeful that as the years come forward, that they'll learn a lot about that model. They're one of 5 districts in the state of Washington that's been allowed to have this waiver for the 4-day school week right now. So it really is looking and seeing can they continue to maintain high levels of academic performance for their students, as well as recruiting and retaining teachers. So they'll definitely be collecting data over the next few years.
Everybody who works for the various school districts under your footprint, they're all under contract and they're all back to work, with the exception of the paraeducators, the 300 or so in the Wenatchee School District who are currently working without a contract. Their contract expired, I believe, last Friday.
Correct.
They said, we're going to come back the day after Labor Day and continue to work on the contract. Is that good or bad? I mean, because you're looking at these Puget Sound areas, you see Stanwood and Tacoma and Seattle, all these bigger school districts are going through some significant labor issues, but not so much here?
So I would tell you that we've all had significant labor issues, and it really is a matter of, with the McCleary decision from the legislature, the state salary schedule was thrown out, and every district had to create their new salary schedule based on the minimums and the maximums that the legislature had set with some parameters around that. So you can imagine developing state salary schedule or a salary schedule for every district has taken some time and some work by both the district and the teacher leaders in those districts to negotiate contracts. So we are fortunate in the North Central Washington area. All of our districts have resolved their teacher contracts and have school running. And we do have a couple classified contracts that are still hanging out there, but you know, the work is still being done, and folks want to make sure that children are served in their communities, and they're continuing to work through those negotiations.
And both sides seem pretty optimistic. I mean, the classified, the people who are handling the classified for the teachers part of it, and the paraeducators classified, negotiating with the Wenatchee School District. They say they get along okay. We're just not quite there yet.
Absolutely, it's working out the numbers really. It's what can we do today and what's sustainable with the budget. What are the comparables of like-sized districts and like-sized like jobs, and looking at all that data and really trying to determine what again can the district afford and sustain over time, and to try to get to some employee satisfaction with those wages.
And everybody knows if you like what you do, you're better at doing it, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You've mentioned budget and funding a bunch of times. For those who don't know, where does the money come for you guys? The North Central Educational Services District. Who writes your checks?
That's a great question. So North Central Educational Service District is funded about 3% by the state, and then the rest of the funding is through grants and through fee-for-services to the school districts that we serve. So for instance, if we provide business services to a school district like a Tenasket, then we charge them for those services and provide a staff member to them for the parts of the day that they need one. Our smaller school districts don't necessarily need full-time employees. For instance, a speech therapist. They need 2 days a week in a small school district to serve the needs of their students. We're able to hire somebody for 5 days and deploy them out to those different districts, but the districts need to pay for that service.
Do you have any day-to-day connection with HEW, Health and Education Welfare, the federal education wing at all? Do they play much of a role in what you guys do?
No, not really.
Yeah.
No,
Is that good?
So really the educational service districts, there's 9 of them in the state of Washington, and it really is a regional service model that we provide the services that either the legislature or the Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction need to deploy out on a regional basis. So we do, of course, have impacts from federal agencies such as the Department of Education.
Right.
When every Student Succeeds Act was passed, we are part of the support system to our districts in making sure that they have the support they need to implement all the pieces of that legislation.
And a lot of people don't know how good we have it here in Washington State, and that there are a lot of states, they have a state board of education, and that board itself decides the curriculum for the entire state. Kansas has this, Texas, a number of states
do.
Which are very top-heavy, as opposed to Washington State, which has decided it's much better to have the local communities have a say in how their kids are educated.
Yes. And
which is, in my opinion, the way to go.
It is, absolutely. Local control is always better. You've got locally elected officials at each school district that help guide their curriculum and their work days and how things flow in their school districts based on what their community values and needs are. And so that's always a positive thing. We do have a state board of education that do set parameters like graduation credits, the number of credits and what needs to be comprised within that graduation requirement, so that we don't have so much flexibility that you can have 12 credits required in one district and 30 in another. So
and a lot less politics. You hear about that all the time. I'm going to be elected to the state school board, and we're going to ban these books. You hear that all the time.
No,
That doesn't happen here.
Those are local decisions.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's
curriculum materials
absolutely
used, the strategies teachers use for implementing in their classroom are professional decisions that happen at the local level.
Running Start did not exist in my school. I'm not going to tell you how long I've been out of school. That is a great idea, Running Start. Hey, I'm I'm ahead of the curve and I want to get some college credits as I go down the road. It's been wonderful.
Yeah, Running Start is a great option for some kids. It offers a dual pathway, if you will, for them to get their high school diploma and their starting in college right off the bat while they're in high school, and the state pays for most of it for kids that are able to take advantage of that. It's not for all kids, and it's not for all parents. I will tell you, sometimes it's harder for the parents because they have to release control of everything to their child because the professors at the colleges that have Running Start students do not communicate with the parents. They communicate with the student that they assume adult roles with.
Maybe the biggest change when I think about the differences between my education and today is credits and how they've structured that. You start your freshman year, 9th grade, and you go through your 12th grade and you earn your credits to build towards graduation. They've spread them out, so you kind of, I'll give you a perfect example. When I went to Wenatchee High School, you had to get 1 semester of math and pass it. And that was it. Between 9, 10, 11, and 12, 1 semester of math, of the various choices that you had, just basic math or algebra or whatever, and pass that, and you got your credit. They don't do that anymore.
Right. I mean, today the graduation requirements are much more stringent and rigorous. You need to have 3 science credits, 3 math credits, 1 of being up through advanced algebra, or algebra 2 is what we would have known it as. So, yeah, the graduation requirements are definitely more rigorous, and the requirements for our students, and then the testing that goes on top of this. We just spent this last weekend with my siblings, and we were laughing. We said, we didn't have testing. We said, yes, we did. Remember that old Iowa test of basic skills where we bubbled in the little Scantron? So we did have it. It just didn't mean anything for us other than that the district or the community got data back. And today it's, graduation requirements are tied to it, and it has meaning with how successful schools are, and they can be graded and put on priority alert status, and so there's so many things that it has meaning for today.
Last April, the voters of the Wenatchee School District were given the opportunity to extensively remodel and renovate Wenatchee High School. They declined. It was so close. They needed the 60% supermajority. They fell just a couple of percent shortage on that. And so they're going to have to deal with some more outdated infrastructure at Wenatchee High School. It's not the permanent fix. They still need to, they got to get this done eventually. And infrastructure plays a terrible role a critical role in the kids' education, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you can look at all our schools across north central Washington, and they're dated, they're aged, and yet currently, under the current rules, it's mostly the local taxpayers' responsibility to update and keep those up. And renovate and then add classes as you've grown as a community and need more classrooms. Class size reduction plays a role there, where you need more classrooms to lower class sizes. So all of those things play a huge role, and it is a huge burden on our taxpayers.
You came out of Moses Lake, and Moses Lake folks, after years and years of pulling teeth, finally got their bond passed, and they're going to be building a second badly needed high school in the Moses Lake area.
Yes.
Would you recommend, just as a person, you don't have to say this as a professional, Dr. Price, but would you like to see the folks who ran this up the flagpole last April to just run it again and just stress that we can't just keep putting this together with duct tape? We got to do what we got to do?
I think that as school district personnel, we have a responsibility to listen to the community and what their needs are, and for the community to work with us on what the solutions are. There's no one best answer for any community. So, I know Wenatchee's going back to the drawing board to say, okay, now what do we do? What are the needs to, what do those look like? Are there other ways for us to meet these? They bring community people together to sort through that, and then they'll put out something else as a proposal. So it's just constantly looking at, okay, what else? How do we revise this? It's not the right package yet, or it wasn't the right time with the right package. It's a shell game to figure it out. But I know that, looking at, I have 3 grandchildren in Moses Lake, and looking at, when they enter high school, they might have the opportunity to be, in schools that actually have space for them, and it feels safer. So I'm excited about that, and I know that Wenatchee will get to that too.
I think they will. I did a walking tour of the new Washington Elementary School, because I went to Washington Elementary School, the old one, and I walked through this new campus and this new building. I'm going, if I'm K through 5, I want to go to school here. I mean, it's better to go to a new school.
Absolutely. I mean, check out Leavenworth, what they've done with Cascade High School.
Sure.
I mean, it is absolutely a beautiful facility. The community was able to support that, and they've, renovated the other schools also, and you know, Alpine Elementary is having their grand opening or just had their grand opening, and you know, just beautiful schools, and it definitely changes the culture for kids when they feel good about where they go, and you know, these schools are old. You know, they get beat up. When you imagine your own home and having a few kids and how beat up your own personal things get, you can imagine the space with you know, thousands of kids in them.
There's a school in Cedro Woolley, an elementary school, they're thinking about actually having to condemn, and they keep floating these bonds, and they keep turning it down, and they're saying, school's going to fall down. I mean, you got to put the kids someplace.
Well, you know, we had in Grand Coulee where, you know, they don't have the tax base to support it. And so luckily we had some support from the legislature there a few years ago to help renovate and build some classroom space for them, because they don't even have a tax base there with the dam.
Do you have a good relationship with our local lawmakers, the lawmakers from Olympia who?
I do, yes. I think that we work well together, and we've got some good communication systems set up and are able to connect on things. We don't always agree, but you know, our job really is to help make sure that they know our stories and that they know what our needs are, and then they've got to figure out all the details of how that all works together with everything else.
With everything else. We're almost out of time. What else is on your mind while I have you here?
You know, I just want to remind everybody, we're so excited that school's starting, but how important it is that parents see their teachers and their schools as partners. Our parents are the primary educators of their children at all times, and the teachers and the school systems are their support system and really are that partner, and how important communication is with your child's teacher, and really just, you know, learning is a process, not a product. And so as we go through the process of learning together, please just make sure to be connecting with your child's teacher and supporting your student with asking lots of questions about school, and not just how was your day, but what did you do today? You know, what did you do in math today? Very specific questions, and have your kids talk to you about school and tell you about what's going on there, and to stay in communication with your child's teacher.
This is not a taxpayer-funded, glorified babysitting service, all right? It isn't. It's your kid's future. It's your kid's education. It's good to see you, Dr. Price.
It's great to see you, too.
Welcome back to school.
Thank you. We're excited to be here.
You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas, and introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and ENIACT. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
When it comes to finding a memory care community, you want the very best. You want to know that your loved one is safe and receiving compassionate care in a loving environment. Fieldstone Memory Care is an innovative assisted living community designed for those with Alzheimer's, dementia, and Parkinson's disease. You'll find a community specifically designed to enrich residents' lives. The Fieldstone team is here to help you navigate the important decisions you face when a loved one has dementia or Alzheimer's. Welcome home to Fieldstone.
Thanks to the help I received at Goodwill,
I have a job. I'm working now, thanks to Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Thank you, Goodwill.
Goodwill's Employment Connection Center is a free walk-in job search assistance program designed to get you back to work. When you donate to or shop at Goodwill, you're really helping people find work.
Thank you.
Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellington here from Live It Up. In the investment world, ROI stands for Return on Investment. Well, how does better health, better wealth, and better relationships sound for ROI? Join us every week right here on NCW Life and learn how to invest in the most important asset, you.
We're going to answer your questions and provide some weekly inspiration so you can create a life that you love. Join us on Live It Up.
And we're back on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz, your host. As you can see behind my left shoulder, it's another smoky, hazy day here in the Wenatchee Valley. We have the latest readings, the latest WAQA values from the local stations. That's Wenatchee's latest reading, which is trending in the right direction. It was 138 an hour ago, so it's down by 1. to 137. That is still unhealthy for sensitive groups, but Chelan is going in the opposite direction. Chelan was at 147 earlier in the day. Now they're up to 153, which bumps them into the unhealthy category. And as we mentioned before, we are scheduled to televise a soccer game tonight, live from Wildcat Stadium in East Wenatchee. The Eastmont Wildcats play host to the Kashmir Bulldogs, and that number is 150. If the air quality gets to 150 or above into the unhealthy range, they don't play the games. It's an agreed upon standard. We're going to keep a very, very, very close eye on that. And if for whatever reason, we're planning on televising the game. We're hoping the game happens, but if for whatever reason they decide to postpone or cancel the game, we will be sure to let you know. Real quickly, your forecast: sunny and hazy today, 88. We do it again on Friday. A cold front comes in Friday night. It's going to cool us down quite a bit Saturday and Sunday. Then we start thinking about a little bit of rain, just what the doctor ordered come Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday as we begin the transition from summertime to autumn. And that's it for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Have a great Thursday. Thanks for starting your day with us. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.